All right. So, hey everyone, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to be looking into Reaktor and using it in Ableton. So, we're going to use Reaktor inside of Ableton today. And I want to welcome all my sound designers and producers to today's stream. And we're going to introduce sound design for film and TV. And whether you're working in cinematic soundscapes or tension building drones or massive impacts, Reaktor is really a powerful tool to craft unique immersive sounds. So by the end of the stream, you'll have a cinematic patch. So we're going to dive into tweaking that and creating something that we can use in our projects. So I'm going to start off. I've opened up my version of Reaktor already. We're going to start off by setting up the basics. We're just going to start a new patch. Going to load that up, a new ensemble. So I've got that open. I'm going to set up the basics that we're going to need. So we're going to need a new ensemble. And once we have that new ensemble, we can add in modules. Oops. So let's do that. New ensemble. So there we go. Just don't forget to press your magnifying glass. I was having trouble finding the magnifying glass. So you press the magnifying glass and you're able to open up Reaktor. That might be a little tricky if it's a little small inside of the DAW when you're building it out. But we're going to start off. We're going to use that node in. Going to grab the basic blocks we need. Go into the utility collection. Going to need the first component. So actually bento box collection, utility. This is the very first one we need. So that'll start us off. We need to get input into the computer, into the software. So when I hit a note on my keyboard, you can see that the node in light is lighting up. So that's great. That means that everything's coming in. The signals, the MIDI input is being received on the other end. And then I'm going to add in another few modules. So I'm going to add in a clock next. This is so we can control the timing information, rhythm and timing. So I'm going to lock the panel so that it's normal looking. Then that'll control the rhythmic movement. So from there, I'm going to add a sound source, an oscillator. So we can add any oscillator we want, but I like to use the bento box ones because they're versatile. I can switch the waveforms very easily. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to add in a filter. And what the filter is going to do is going to help us shape that tone up, and we're going to create that cinematic feel. So that's our filter. And the next component I'm going to add for movement is probably an LFO, and that's going to help us shape our sound. So, and lastly, we're going to need ADSR envelope and to shape our dynamics over time of that sound and create a little bit of a swell. So my final component I'm probably going to need is some kind of effects. So I'm going to go into my effects section and we'll add a little reverb on the end, maybe a little delay, and then we're going to hook everything up. So let's start off with our pitch. Connect our pitch, and then I'm going to go through to my filter and then to my amp. So you can hear the sound already coming out because we didn't add an amp. So I can definitely add one. Before I do that, let me turn down the volume a little bit. Okay, so that's our basic raw sound. I'm going to need to add in an amplifier. Like that. And our sound might stop, yep, like that, which I knew would happen. So just gotta turn the volume back up on our amp. And then I'm gonna connect our gate connection to add in a envelope. So this will be our, we can rename it. This is gonna be for the amplifier. So it is an amp ADSR. So we've got that, and I'm gonna connect up some effects. But before I connect them fully, I'm going to tweak our sound, add some movement. So let's do that. Just going to turn up the modulation depth on our actual sound. Then I think I'm going to add a little frequency modulation to make things a little more exciting. Okay, so now let's add another oscillator. Let's sync them. So we're just going to clean up the panel a little bit. I'm going to scrap that for now, and then tweak my existing oscillator. I actually want to add a pitch envelope. And then we can control this sound. So I'm going to turn up the modulation depth so we have some control and we can hear the actual characteristics of the sound. And there we go. Let's add in that delay. Wash it a little bit. So the way how we're gonna get a different sound is we'd have to change our oscillator. Let's see what other modulators we can add. So we got let's see. Add a little reverb. We got like something like a ray gun sound. Let's add an 8-step onto this sequencer. And then connect that to our pitch. Okay, so let's test it out. Panel's looking pretty good though, so. So we're using that crossfade combined with the 8-step. Get some interesting sounds. can adjust these envelope levels. And there we have it. We have something that we can use in our productions over and over again. Pretty much. So feel free to take this sound, take it even further, design something that you can use in your projects, and I will see you in the next live stream. So you can go as deep as you want with this, or as high level, or as you want with sound design. And also be sure to check out my modular masterclass for sound design. And we break down textures, atmospheres, and hybrid sounds in synthesis and sound design. We go more into depth in those series, and I will see you in the next live stream. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and peace out.